Hello, today we'll continue working on our RIzzi City. And what we want to do is we want to finish drawing first, then finish tracing, and then finish coloring. In my example, I'm obviously not done with all of those steps, but we're going to pretend that the whole thing is traced and colored so I can show you the last step, which is optional, meaning you can choose if you want to do it or not. And that is blending our watercolor pencils with a little bit of water. Now, when we're blending with water, the key is to use less water than you think you need to. So it's always very good to wipe your brush off on the edge of the water cup several times until it's not dripping. And I want to be very careful when I'm doing that because I also don't want to get other people's artworks wet. So I want to be very gentle and slow and be aware of where I'm moving my brush at all times. Now, blending with water is one of my favorite parts, but there's several tricks and tips to make it very successful. One is I don't want to just add water randomly everywhere. I really want to paint each color separately. So if I'm painting the blue of this building, I can take my brush and start to use water to smoothly blend the pencil strokes together. As I'm painting, I like to be extra careful. And you can see it's just activating the watercolor and blending the pencil into paint, since these were special watercolor pencils that we used. With this step, just like with all steps of our art process, the slower you go and the more careful you are, the better it'll look at the end. Another thing you can consider, especially in larger areas, is going in little tiny circles with your paintbrush. That can help really smooth the pencil lines into paint. But I'm not painting over top of these yellow or orange windows or these orange eyebrows because I don't want to mix up my blue and orange paint, or at least I'm trying not to. Again, taking your time is really going to help you do your best work. I'm also going to paint around the eyes and not over them because I want to leave the whites of the eyes. And I always want to use only the tip and the very front of my brush. I never want to smash my brush. I just want to use the very tip of the bristles. If I smash it, that'll make the brush begin to fray and fall apart, and other people won't be able to use it. So I'm painting really slowly and carefully, but it's really making my artwork look even better and even more distinguished and finished and polished than it did before. The more things to consider are using less water than you think you need. If you use less water, you'll be able to control it better and be more precise. And similarly, you want to go slower with your paintbrush than you think you would usually want to, because you will be able to be more careful around all the beautiful details you've added to this artwork. We want to have those details shine through. We don't want to just accidentally cover them up. So that's why going slow and being careful is a good idea. Now, when I'm done with this blue, what I want to do is I want to take my brush in the water, rinse my brush before I go on to the next color. So I'm rinsing my brush and wiping it off before I blend this door, for example, which is orange. Then I could, with my brush that has orange on it, blend anything else that I wanted to that is also orange. That way we can be efficient while still being very careful. Up here in the sky, I even did a gradient between orange and pink and magenta. So I could begin to very carefully blend that in small circles. Again, I'm working slowly so I can be careful around the edges of these buildings. You can also be careful by using less water, and of course being gentle with my brush. I'm always swirling it and pulling it, never smashing it or pushing it. Because if it starts to streak, it doesn't mean push harder, it means your brush is thirsty for just a bit more water. I'm so excited to see the progress that you make on these beautiful, fun artworks. And I want to remember to keep trying our best. And it's okay that art sometimes turns out in a way that's unexpected.